Last week on July 23rd, the White House released its AI Action Plan, which is focused on boosting AI innovation, building secure infrastructure, and strengthening global leadership. The plan supports open source AI, better cybersecurity, and smart regulations to help U.S. tech companies stay ahead. It also aims to share AI with allies, while, of course, restricting exports to countries that are seen as adversaries. We saw this information come out from Cloudflare, which is the story that we linked, and they are supporting the plan. They also say that they're ready to help the government build secure, scalable AI systems that promote innovation and global access. Al, we've announced here in the US that we're going to be doing this, but I wonder, what does this look like to the rest of the world? Is this actually a plan or is this more posturing?
Well, at this stage, it's a strategic plan. It's here's what we think we will do. It, there's no or very little money attached to it, so there isn't funding to do these things, and there isn't yet either executive orders or legislation to make this happen. So this is the very beginnings, and it seems a bit late to be starting at the beginning with AI, since AI is all over the place, everywhere, and actively in use right now. But it's not unusual for central government to be a little behind where the technology innovation and things are happening. I like that the first pillar is to accelerate AI innovation. Um, so it's a continuing theme, the second pillar about building American AI infrastructure. And we've had multiple stories here on the rundown about the progress or lack of progress on building some of these massive AI data centers that are being promised. Hmm. Who made these promises to whom? Was it Jensen Huang at lunch at Mar-a-Lago sitting next to Mr. President? I believe that did come up along the way. Um, Interesting that apparently Mr. Trump had not heard of NVIDIA prior to this and thought they were just another large corporate you could break up. The third pillar is interesting as well, leading international AI diplomacy and security, sharing that AI innovation with the actual partner companies, friends of the United States. And being here in New Zealand, we are a friend of the United States. Um, yeah, these are all good and laudable principles. They're good thoughts to have. Really, in the end, you've got to have some execution on these things. These principles being written on a big piece of paper doesn't help people. Having things like good funding for NIST, so NIST, part of the Department of Commerce, I believe, in the US, is an important part of setting standards and setting mechanisms for making these tools, these AI tools, usable and understandable across multiple organizations, particularly including some standardized security and testing tooling. And we've had on security of AI being kind of important very recently in the rundown. It will be really good to see some of this turning into actual action, uh, particularly since there is a move in here away from restriction, away from legislative restriction is what's being guided in here, is that taking away regulations that are possibly inhibiting AI adoption, presumably within the United States, and increasing the availability of open models because these foundation models aren't the things that most enterprises are going to build. They're going to start with a foundation model, and maybe open source models and open source weights might make that easier. Maybe, maybe not. Related news, and it's a can of worms that we just want to have a sniff at. We don't really want to get too deep into. Is around the export controls of those NVIDIA chips. Related to this is possibly that the H20 chips used for inference may remain excluded from the restrictions around NVIDIA's high-end chips from being released to not so friendly states, specifically China. Uh, there's some interesting discussion about whether the wider trade negotiations with China are going to uh, take precedence over protecting the United States' security by keeping high-end AI chips out of China. It's a big can of worms because apparently they're still getting these high-end chips even though they're not allowed them. I'll back away. I'll back away from that.